Welcome to episode 16 of Brokers and Booze. I'm Nick Sowers from Beach Connection Realty. I got here on my left
Bill Yates with Sands Realty.
Chris Ward, broker in charge of Eagle Realty.
Yes, we are here. We're going to talk about some booze, talk about some real estate. Today we are doing a seltzer.
I'm feeling healthy just looking at it.
I mean, this is like after the gym.
During the gym.
In Yates World.
Well, yeah. So what do we got here?
So we've got a Bon and Viv, or Viv, Bon and Viv. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know if it's like French or anything.
Nobody knows.
Bon and Viv.
Really
We've never had this before. Bon and Viv got nice little mermaids on it. Spiked seltzer. Zero sugar, only 90 calories, no fat. That's why keto and fitness people love the hard seltzers, love the spiked seltzers. And yeah, so it apparently is just, this is going to be the healthiest thing that Bill Yates has drank so far on any of our episodes, or maybe in 2020 for the whole year. 4.5 ABV, and we got a couple different flavors here. We got grapefruit, seems pretty basic, pear elderflower, cranberry, and clementine hibiscus.
All right, I'll take the cranberry.
It sounds like a garden. I'm just saying.
I want to go with clementine.
You're going with clementine? I want to, just because it's pear. I know what a grapefruit tastes like. So,
yeah.
Pear elderflower.
Bill, where'd you pick these up?
Great question, Nick.
Somebody snuck them in his cart, I think.
I'm not really sure. But if I did buy them, it'd probably be for a mixer.
Oh my gosh.
No.
This smells like a Jolly Rancher.
Wait.
Off the nose. Or green Jolly Rancher. That's awesome. It's not.
I don't know what mine smells like.
It's not overwhelming.
It's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
Are we gonna cheers?
Cheers.
Cheers. No, there's no clink with the.
Because we're drinking straight from the can, baby.
We're not getting fancy.
No, you can put your pinky out.
Oh yeah, take the pinky.
That is horrible. I hate it.
Who drinks these things on the reg?
Well,
That's what I want to know. Who drinks these things on the regular?
Let's repurpose this. And just in case, I had a couple pre-pours here of Tito's. For the original intention.
So what we're going to do is we're going to mix this with the Tito's. Mix
Fantastic.
one alcohol with another alcohol? This sounds genius, Bill.
See,
How much should we pour in here, Bill?
So I think they lied when they said spiked. Now they're spiked.
I mean, hold on. I'm giving it a second chance. I like second chances.
All right,
I feel generous.
I'll give it one more.
Man,
It's still horrible.
well, no, listen. Let me give an honest assessment because it's really not your product. If Bon and Viv are watching this, I don't think feel bad. It's not your product because I'm sure you make a good hard seltzer. I don't like seltzer. I don't think
seltzer any of us here drink seltzer. I think we're all much heavier drinkers.
So we went out on a limb. I think it was we were trying to forgive Chris for his participation in mezcal last week. So we went a little easier today.
Yeah.
However, yeah, it tastes a lot better when Tito's gets in the action.
You like that, man? Now, what I get blown away by is
You're right, Bill.
Yeah, indeed.
Is the aromas. Because the aromas are tricky. They fool me. I really do smell like a Jolly Rancher here. This smells like an awesome. Oh man, that smells like a what's that mixed drink? I've had it before. Like a sunrise,
champagne?
it's like a sunrise, like cranberry orange juice and vodka.
Tequila sunrise?
Yeah, not tequila, vodka. There's vodka in it.
I know what you're talking about.
But it has that.
My wife drinks them. I don't drink them.
Yeah.
Just like these. My wife drinks
It's
these.
true. It literally smells like cranberry juice. It smells like cranberry juice. Like I'm thinking what it's going to taste like, and it doesn't match that taste, and it freaks me out.
So I'm confused on why people even drink
Maybe I
these.
chose poorly.
Because it has zero sugar, 90 calories, no fat, and 4.5 ABV.
They sell
So
them at the gym.
it's not enough alcohol to have any effect.
Well,
Tastes like crap. And
well, listen. 4.5 ABV. 4.5 ABV. Isn't that Michelob Ultra?
yeah, I don't drink Michelob.
Oh, you know what?
But I'm saying, isn't that the beer? Like most beers, 4.5 to 5 on a low calorie light
It tastes
beer.
good.
So
I think we've got a friend that can pound about 30 of these.
We do have a friend that drinks seltzers.
No, what if you're containing it to beer?
I'm going to try the grapefruit because you're going to throw it away anyway.
I would never.
So I think what people do is
That one's actually better.
so I could see my wife drinking these.
That tastes better by itself than the rest of the.
I could definitely see my wife drinking these. Okay, let me try that.
It tastes better than mine did.
Let me try
Yeah,
that.
that's it. No, that's not going to impress you at all.
Doesn't that taste a little?
does.
That's a little
Okay.
less seltzery. The grapefruit. So of
This
our
is like
recommendation,
taking seltzer water, squeezing a little orange juice in it, and trying to convince me there's alcohol.
I think the grapefruit wins in
Try
this
this.
circle. Yeah, I think he's got his own.
This definitely has
So
alcohol.
as far as the mixer, it's not terrible. I don't really
You like
like carbonated mixers. However,
Yeah, I like it as a mixer. I think with
Really good.
Tito's, it's way better.
thank you.
I didn't know you
think
were
that
going
was
to
a
put that
good
much
call.
Cheetos in there. All right, so moving on to the real estate topic. So it's probably the last seltzer you'll see on Brokers and Booze.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Unless we have like guests that aren't even us.
Yeah. Or if somebody brings to us and says like this tastes like candy
Yeah.
and you can't taste the seltzer
Or
in
we
it.
have a guest
Or
that
there's some
really
type of
wants us to
sponsor.
try it. Yeah.
Or sponsor gives us
Actually, if
money.
you want us to not say it
I'll
tastes
do it.
horrible. Actually,
It's
that's
the best.
wrong. I'm still gonna give an honest review.
Cheers. Then we'll delete this episode.
I'm still going to have an honest review. All right, so today we're going to talk about. It's a little bit of prospecting. It's a little bit of taking care of your client, and it has to do with if you have a buyer interested in like a particular condo development or house development, and there's nothing for sale. What do you do?
Pick up the phone. Start making phone calls.
That was the nicest way he said that so far. 'Cause when we had our little pregame for the show.
Yeah, and they also asked. The person asked, "Do you how do you not violate HOA rules? Can you do it in a professional way?
Soliciting.
How do you what's the best way to solicit like a neighborhood like that?" So
See, I don't know when outside of solicitation with HOA, like door knocking type feel, which I'm not sure if in a resort.
A lot of coaches recommend the door knocking.
Yeah. So is that a very typical HOA? You guys work with HOAs more than I do. Is that more of a typical
yeah,
thing?
you're not gonna be allowed to do that.
You're not going to be able
Yeah,
to go.
But-
you're gonna find that neighbor that's on the HOA.
But in neighborhoods without HOAs, if you're looking for like in areas where most of the people in the houses are living there, the primary residence type neighborhoods, door knocking is a great way to get your name out there because guess what? Neighbors know neighbors. So you may only talk to 10, all of a sudden 30 people know you're looking for a house there.
Right.
Like,
Right. I go back. I mean, you say phone calls, but I'd even take one step more old school than that. I would mail. I mean, all of our MLS is connected to tax record systems. You go in there, you can print labels and just mail that subdivision, that condo building or whatever, and mail them down. Now where I bring it into 2020 is I would send my piece out, my mailing piece to them, but then I would research their name, cross-reference on Facebook and Google, and then try and reach out to them one-on-one, which I've actually done on properties in our area. Is found I've actually traced back like LLC to find like people in LLCs and that kind of stuff on Facebook or on social media and reached out to them via direct message that way. But I think you could do that with
would
any
your third
property.
step then geo-target Facebook ads over the neighborhood?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not getting a lot of response back, then you can kind of run. Now, geo-targeting's gotten a lot more wide base like that, but I think you can, because you can still target people that visit there, live there. Like there are still enough demographics on geo-target ads to find it, even though it's a bigger circumference. I think you can run some branded ads about needing inventory. Structure your ad creative as you are looking for listings because you have buyers asking about this area, and just make sure the creative.
So if you're in a neighborhood, if you're not in a resort area like us, and you're in DC, you're in Chicago, New York, you're in someplace where the building legit has people living in it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is those people's homes, and they want in that building. One of the people even said this: reach out to the building manager. He or she may have inside. I think you even go next level. I think every person living in a building like that knows their maintenance guy.
Certainly, and they probably talk to him a lot.
Yeah.
Just being in a resort, having an office in a resort.
So if you're going to reach out to the maintenance guy, I can tell you this without a doubt: 90% of the time this works with the maintenance guy. If you want to go, you want him to potentially send somebody your way. Show up with food.
Joe with yeah.
Show up,
donuts,
no doubt.
breakfast. It's always a winner.
Yep. Yeah, they're usually there early. They usually don't work late. So
True.
Yeah.
And then going back to the social media avenues, Chris, if you've ever heard of Nextdoor, it's an app where you can check yourself in residentially. And, you know, where I live, it'll connect me to like 32 actually other neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And for the most part, people are looking for recommendations on good handymen, dog walkers, groomers, just in general landscapers, things like that. But
Bill is a little bougie.
you
Fancy. Keep it classy.
Other people are looking for somebody to change their transmission.
which we can throw recommendations there as well. But I mean, it never hurts to have a past client in that neighborhood or community throw out, say, hey, listen, I've got friends or people are looking to buy here. Is anyone potentially interested or thinking about listing their house? We can put them in touch.
And I think here's another, just to add to that, because I have heard Nextdoor, and I think where a lot of people also miss out on is there are a lot of communities that have Facebook groups now, that have Facebook groups for a building or for a community, and trying to connect and plug in there and say, hey, I got somebody looking. So you have the homeowners that have that.
And be respectful. I'm going to say
right.
because a lot of those groups don't allow sales pitches on a period. But you're not really looking for a sales pitch. You're saying, hey, I have somebody that wants to buy. If anybody's interested, I think you can approach it.
And make sure you actually have a buyer.
I was gonna say, so isn't that's the real issue? And I know this when I send letters out or send. It's like, how do you craft it in such a way that doesn't come across, I'm just looking for a listing appointment. I actually have somebody, because it has been for decades that people use that. I have a buyer looking for a home just like yours.
And honestly, Chris, I've done this approach in the past, and they said, are you fishing for listings or do you actually have a buyer? And I submitted an offer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is my buyer.
Yeah.
So sign it if you're willing to sell or counter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you're right, though. I think that fishing thing has been so overdone in the real estate world that now the homeowners are skeptical. They're skeptical that you really do. Because you know what?
Let's face it, we're trusted just slightly higher than politicians.
And I would say also down that same route, we have, in crafting those letters and crafting our pitches to those people, we all say, oh, we're getting around it because I worded it, there are tons of buyers looking for homes like yours, or I have access. Well, we all have access. Yeah. It's called the MLS. Yeah. It's called advertising. We all have access to it, but we all justify that we're not really pitching the truth. I think a lot of agents out there that use that strategy are not they're using a justification that my pitch isn't really telling the truth, even though it isn't, correct.
I would say the other aspect of that, you talk about MLS, is, and to answer this guy in this group's question, have you checked expireds? There may be nothing on the market now, but maybe there was a couple months ago.
Right.
And have you checked to see who had a listing out there that maybe didn't get sold or anything like that? Or even I've heard other coaches use this approach. Look, what's the average 5 to 7 years that somebody sells or moves a property on average in the U.S.? So what property sold 5 or 7 years ago? Who might be looking to resell now and churn it out?
Mexico.
But what you were just talking about as far as distrust or have an offer, that kind of stuff ready for a buyer, what I would say is don't be greedy. Reach out. If there was an agent who had a listing that expired a couple months ago, I don't necessarily have to go straight to that. I can reach out to the agent. They have a relationship with somebody.
That too.
Yeah, well, you don't have to double side everything. Yeah, right. Find the properity, and you might need another agent in your network that might have access.
But that goes back to your goal. Your goal is to take care of your client.
And I'm not looking to represent both sides either. So I tend to stay away from that.
And there's states out there where you can. You can represent both sides in certain states. So
for transaction brokerage, that's getting more popular here.
Having the dual agency. But I think that's where why people get. I think that's why agents get hung up on marketing a little bit. It's how do I market? Because in the back of their mind, they're like, okay, I can double side. I can be on both sides of this kind of thing. And sometimes you gotta let that ego, let that greed and that ego go a little bit to just find the right property, and that'll open up thinking of different ways to find a homeowner, to connect with a homeowner, and find a property for your buyer that's looking, when you don't pigeonhole yourself that way with it.
I mean, I still think to this day we can send postcards, we can Facebook ads, we can social media all we want. I still think if you can get the people on the phone, you're gonna have the biggest response. And I hate it because I hate
there's a lot of people
calling people like that. Yeah, but I still think you're gonna have the biggest response.
There's agents that love it. So.
I'm losing deals.
Or you can say, the agents that love listings and calling for listing appointments. Hey, listen, go find a listing in this neighborhood. I've got a buyer.
Yeah.
That might be, because I've got a lot of good relationships with other agents in town that are really good at listing. And maybe they've got a pocket listing or an idea. Maybe not a pocket listing, but that's illegal. So
not in South Carolina, you're gonna have a pocket.
Not that, but maybe they've been talking to somebody that has been on the fence, and you just don't know.
Yeah.
Look at the agents that are doing a lot of turnover, high activities in neighborhoods.
But I think that goes back to agent referrals and like knowing what you're good at, and I think that's some self-awareness. I think that's some doing I think every real estate agent's guilty of being too greedy.
Yeah.
They're all like I'm not going to call this person and turn them onto this or give them this client because I don't want to give up that money.
No, I'm the exact opposite. If I take a listing in a development or a community that I don't do a lot of business in, I am looking for the person that does, and I'm calling them first. And next thing you know, it's under contract.
But would you ever not take the listing and send somebody to somebody else and just get a referral fee?
Yeah. Because if someone's saying, sell my property in XYZ community, I'm going to say I'm not the expert there. I could become the expert there, but it's probably in your benefit to hire that agent.
Yeah, I literally just had a text from an agent who was an out of market agent, asked me about a listing of mine, and he's like, "Well, would you rather just this is probably easier if I just do a referral fee to you and that kind of stuff because you work and I was like, yeah, that's fine.
I'm a strong believer in niches, so I'm good at what I do, and there's other agents that are really good at those neighborhoods, and hire the best.
I did have
them in the direction.
I did read a little Facebook interaction though that goes back to phone calling because I saw an agent say Super Bowl night. Who's going to be up at 7 a.m. making their cold calls in the morning, and then a response was, I said probably agents who want to annoy football fans at 7 a.m. in the morning.
But I think what my response to it would have been? Probably agents that weren't at their client's Super Bowl party.
Oh yeah.
I would have said agents born before 1975, but that's just me. I don't do a lot of phone calls anymore.
Yeah, I can send Facebook messages from my bed.
I was gonna say I can do a lot of things without interrupting somebody's sleep after having 8 bourbons on a Super Bowl night. But all right. Just saying. Hey, speaking of Super Bowl,
look at these guys.
Look at those guys that weren't there.
I made kind of a bold statement back on an earlier episode. I apologize for that.
Go check out episode 10.
Our team is young and growing, and we will get there.
Some of the Lions,
much credit to the Chiefs for a big game.
I'd rather drink out of Bill Yates' cup.
Yeah, well, Bill's all about Bill. He's about Bill.
I'm not winning a Super Bowl.
The 3 levels of Bill. Bill is all about Bill and Bills.
Bills, yeah.
I don't know. This is now spiraled completely.
I'm just waiting for the cheers.
I'm
blaming it on the spritzer.
That's more than you thought.
Tito's has nothing to do with it at all.
Oh yes,
guys. So until then, we will be drinking.
Keep it classy.
Yeah. Got nothing on that. Nothing left.